What's up, folks, and welcome to the Modern Truths Throwback Thursday. Throwback Thursdays are when we check out an old school movie and proceed to have a discussion about it. I'm MJ, here with Alex Storm. So, Alex, what movie did we watch this week?
So, this week we watched Terminator 2, Judgment Day. It was directed by James Cameron. It starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, and Edward Furlong. Came out in 1991. And we figured we would revisit it because the new Terminator Genesis movie is coming out this week. So, what did you think?
Well, let me tell you, Terminator 2 is still an awesome movie. Shocking, right? Go figure. There's a reason it's a modern classic. And it holds up pretty well, as a story. I would only say one thing that is a little, that didn't hold up very well was actually the practical effects. People are always talking about the overuse of CGI. But I would say that the practical effects, particularly in that first futuristic sequence where they're fighting the T-100s and the flying ships are shooting at them and stuff, those didn't really hold up super well. The T-100s kind of look like prop robot thingies that were just being, moved by like puppeteers or something instead of like an actual thing that was there, And really, I thought about the scope of things and just how I was like, man, again, even this like large scale battle that they're showing in this sequence is so much smaller than most of the sequences we get these days for a blockbuster. So, but yeah, it's always fun to go back and look at those things and see those kind of transitions.
Well, you know what I really liked about it? We see, and maybe it's still coming off the excitement of Mad Max thinking about chase scenes, was all the chase scenes in the LA River. And also the car explosions, like her. I know there were some bad nightmares with the what are they, T-100s?
Yeah.
There were some bad nightmares where it was those flashbacks. But Sarah Connor's nightmares with like the playground exploding that I remember from when I was a kid, the apocalypse coming that way, I really liked those scenes. I thought they were cool.
Yeah, that was a really cool affecting scene. And I think that is an example of where practical really made a difference. Just seeing like this body rocking as it's being like burned or whatever to a crisp. Like these are the subtleties that really work very well. But that's the stuff that honestly worked better than anyway, because it was just sand and like color and weird stuff like that versus them trying to get a machine to move like well and shoot a gun.
Look real.
Yeah. So but I guess we should probably talk about the actors / characters in this movie because they're kind of the big drawing point here, right?
Yeah. Sarah Connor, she's iconic. I love this movie for her when I was a kid, and I still did. I was still cheering for her and for all of them the entire way. But she's just such a badass. At no point does she fall into the like typical badass female trope where she like has to have a love interest, or where she shows like a moment of weakness and needs to be rescued, or where she's just like a bitch. She's cold, but it's because she's like focused on the mission. She knows that she has to keep her son alive so he can take over during the apocalypse.
One thing that kind of stood out to me though was like how she starts off in a mental institution. And she is crazy. Like like even when she gets out of there, it's not like she was like, I was right the whole time and I'm okay. It's like no, she is unhinged too, which I kind of like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like that it's like it's not just like no, see, I was saying the whole time. You guys just didn't know. It's like no, maybe from just being in there that long, like she actually did flip her a little bit in there, but it just works really well.
Fair
like
enough.
Linda Hamilton's performance is just so intense, man. She's just so like dedicated.
She's intense the entire time. Like when she's doing pull-ups, yes. I was counting them. I was like, what a badass. But that fits. And she was right. The world was coming to an end. The Terminators were coming.
It was a big effing deal.
But she obviously took everything she experienced in the first Terminator and went and got all this information, all these skills so that she could be a badass for this movie, and for the future, of course.
For the future. Yeah. And I guess it's very rare to see that much of a transition for a character between sequels. Like, in the first one, she was basically the damsel in distress. Kyle Reese was sent back to protect her and ended up ultimately impregnating her and being the father of John Connor. Ooh, that's weird. And so, in this one, she's like, I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to assassinate somebody, okay? Yeah. She is on top of it. Yeah. So, she's awesome. Now, we got to talk about, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Look, this is his movie. This is what it's all about. He is the Terminator. What did you think about Schwarzenegger?
I thought he was awesome. He was so likable. And I don't remember knowing about Arnold Schwarzenegger before this movie. Maybe I'd seen Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, but this being the movie that I watched over and over and over again when I was a kid, it made me know Arnold Schwarzenegger. And when I think of him, I still think of him in this role. And he's perfect for it. He shows no affect. He's just so monotone in his delivery. His accent really works with him saying his like few lines, and of course saying the funny lines that he's known for in this movie. So it was great for him. I don't know. I think he was perfect for this role.
Yeah. You know, I once read somewhere, I think it was a review for Terminator 3, that the reviewer was like, it's weird to say that a man was born to play a machine, but this really does feel like the ultimate Arnold Schwarzenegger role, because he is just playing a robot. And like you say, all the knocks against Schwarzenegger basically work for him in this role. So it's like, hey man, you know, he knocked it out. Just super cool. I mean, it's just like, I don't know, there's so many little things, especially with his physical acting that he did, that I think really just made it work. Like just even the way he, like the cool, like when he's like reloading the shotgun and flipping it on his hand or whatever. I was like, this is just so awesome, man. Like, and maybe it's been done before. I can't think of what it was, but it was just so cool.
Yeah.
And even like to go back to shotgun stuff, kind of side note because it came to my mind, but just at the end when Linda Hamilton's cocking the shotgun with one arm, it's like I just always remember that scene, man. I'm like, I have not seen this in anything else. This is so awesome. So, needless to say, the action in the movie is pretty amazing, right?
It's on point, for sure. It's the reason to watch it. But with that said, it also has a lot of horror elements that make it sort of spooky and dark and kind of have you on the edge of your seat at times.
Yeah, and that's mostly because of the T-1000, right?
The T-1000's creepy. He can turn into anybody, turn into anything, and
yeah, like when they're on the elevator running from him, and he like puts the thing in there, and then he's, you know, that's like totally a horror movie scene right there. Like,
totally is.
And that's kind of what's cool about this movie. And you know, this is actually interesting because a lot of movies from this time period had that, where it's like shifting tones and genres, and they do a really good job of balancing them. Like, you think about Jurassic Park, it's like it's an action movie, it's a drama, it has some comedy in it, and it also has some horror elements. And this is the same way. It's got comedy, it's got action, it's got drama, and it has horror elements. Like, you just don't see movies like that these days that can balance that many different, like, you know, feels, and and actually still pull it off. So, I mean, again, the movie's pretty awesome. For me, it's like, I understand why it is where it is, you know, in cinema history. But it is kind of sad when you think about the bigger picture for the Terminator franchise. In that, honestly, and I mean, look, the first movie is good, but this movie is great. And then the two movies that came out after that, not so good. And again, we haven't seen Genesis, so we don't know. But really, this franchise is this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, if it weren't for this movie, there would be no Terminator franchise.
This is the movie that everyone needs to watch. Of the franchise. You don't need to see the first one. You don't really need to see the rest of them. This one is the perfect film for the whole franchise. And I mean, we'll see what happens with Terminator Genesis, but I just don't see them being able to take it to this level.
Yeah, I would say if the trailer for Terminator Genesis is any indication, you could probably just skip Terminator Genesis and watch or rewatch Terminator 2 Judgment Day, because you'll be satisfied. You'll get what you want out of a Terminator film in this movie, because this is the ultimate Terminator film. So, got anything else to talk about?
Should we talk about the diversity in the film?
Yeah,
about that.
Diversity or lack thereof. You know, there is a prominent African-American character in this movie, but the catch, of course, is that he's responsible for the death of all of humanity. So I don't really know how well I feel about that, you know, how rah-rah and exciting that is. Outside of that, there's really no diversity elsewhere that I can think of. You know, okay, well, her buddy, the militia dude, he is a Latino.
And in the mall scenes, there's, you know, tons of extras.
So there are extras.
But we have to at least give them credit, because the black man was a brilliant scientist.
Yeah, a brilliant scientist that was responsible for the destruction of humanity.
But, you know.
So, hey, you know, but crisis averted. He got killed. They blew up cyanide or whatever the hell. No. The Cryodine or something was the name of the company he works for. And Skynet still, as we know, found a way. You know, because you know how Jurassic Park, life finds a way. Well, in Terminator, Skynet finds a way. Okay. So I guess that will conclude our discussion of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. My name is MJ. You can follow me on Twitter at TheOnlyMJ, and she is...
I'm Alex Storm. You can follow me at AlexStormTMT, as in The Modern Truth.
And TheModernTruth.com is where you can find all of our Throwback Thursday videos, news, and any upcoming discussion videos. So thanks for tuning in to the video, folks, and take care.